Okay. Technical difficulties out of the way. We'll get back on the road with this Deep Elf Monk. We've discovered Josephine here. I don't really want to fight Josephine or her wraiths. Remember, my melee, my defenses are really quite bad. So, if we could just lure things one at a time, ideally things that will not destroy me in melee. You know, but with a combination of slow and confusing touch, we can kill most things. It's just very important to remember that confuse is nerfed now. So I can't exactly rely on it to let me reset fights. What spells do I have? Very weird ones. We ended up having to use hexes, and we were just we found this early book, Book of Cantrips, you know, and I picked Sifmuna early because I was a monk, and I had forgotten that you don't get your first gift until like 5-star piety. So I was stuck just using crap out of the Book of Cantrips, and she finally gave me a gift, and it was the Book of Fires. So we're kind of pivoting over to being a blaster. I would have preferred to summon, but this is fine. So anyway, we're kind of stabbing. If you look at my skills, I'm really doing a hell of a lot of things right now, you know. But we're making it work. Really, the only bad thing about this character, the only truly bad thing, is that I can get taken down in melee pretty quickly. So I really don't want to be in melee. It's just kind of an annoying necessity right now. But yeah, we have Summon Mammal to get away if need be, and we have Animate Skeleton, which I find really irritating to use. You're not wearing plate mail and punching things to death. I mean, that would be easier. Let's pull this Wraith. Nice. How do you like being slowed? How much is our percentage chance? 60 to confuse the Wraith on swing. That's pretty good. This we're gonna pull out the animal friends for this. Nice. The stabs are treating me pretty well. Pull the Wraith and get dumpstered by it. Not today. Josephine is slow. Can I pull her without her buddies? Yes, I can. However, she got that ghostly fireball, which I don't really feel like looking it up, but I want to say it can do 60 damage, maybe 45, probably 45. Anyway, it's not something I really want to be hit by, but we have enough resources that we can reset the fight if need be. So let's make some mammals. 46% chance to confuse. That's not the best chance. Dagger of Protection. Just have RN plus. Yeah, wouldn't that be nice? Well, we have a Scroll of Blinking. We'll make it work. Ah, that's rough. Okay, we got the Confuse. This is great because as much as they've nerfed Confusion, at least they didn't let people cast while confused. However, she broke out of it quite quickly. This is obnoxious. She really, she was really walking away every single time. It's like the nerf is not helping me out. Let me see if I can fear her. Yeah, that's good. Let's reset this just for a minute. We're gonna wait for her to come back. I'm just letting the poison do some work. Hey, Pekeke, I don't know if you're in the chat, but thank you for hosting me. I appreciate that. Why would I want to play a Che stabber? That doesn't sound too... That doesn't sound too fun to do. Actually, that sounds not bad, come to think of it. Your dex would get a huge boost. So you would actually get the stabs way more often, right? Since it's based on that. Alright, we've lost Josephine, and I'm okay with that. We can find her later. Maybe I'll get some skeletons here. The only problem with the spell versions of the skeletons is, you know, unlike Retinule, they just disappear in like 5 seconds, so it's kind of hard to use them. Whoa, hey, thank you for the sub, Interference, and I really appreciate it. You're actually you're the first subscriber that I didn't specifically ask to subscribe, so that's really cool. It was so cool that I forgot how to speak the English language for a second there. Sweet. Can I just get a stab? Nope. I wanted to get just a legitimate stab here. Sleep stab. Oh well. Hey, it's free for you, but I actually get 250 off of that, I think, so definitely appreciated. That's a coffee, you know. I'll take a free coffee. Hey, let's see what this staff is. Well, after we fight this boss. I may end up having to run away. I may have to use a blink scroll. Actually, it's free. Why don't we reset the fight and rest? Go down a different staircase. There we go. Yeah, I'll help with WCA stuff, sure. I mean, I'm interested. I mean, I have a server that's, I mean, I kind of registered the website itself as a joke, but I have dungeoncrawlstonesoup.com, so would be, you know, we could put it there. WCA is the World Crawl Association, which, for those of you who don't know about it, it's this thing that this college professor, I forget from where, emailed Ultraviolet 4 proposing the idea to set up this sort of league of, you know, I assume with things like ELO. Well, no, it wouldn't really be ELO, but just a scoring system for, you know, who's, you know, a way to rank crawl players. And he called it the World Crawl Association, which kind of became a meme because it's kind of a funny sounding name. But yeah, like Pekeke here is one of the people who's kind of taken the lead on making it real. So it looks like, yeah, I heard about that. I heard that Advil was working on seeding, which really surprised me because from what I understood, seeds were something that were just horribly broken and hard to, you know, like they just couldn't, for some reason there was like a lot of roadblocks to getting that working. Oh, screw this. Just sitting here talking and losing hard to a Mamba. Am I? Yeah, I'm lethal. Okay, let's drink the curing. Yeah, nice poison it is, isn't it? Well, we got the sweet negative energy random wand. Yeah, DCSS devs do work when they're not adding clown pies to the game. Then sometimes some cool stuff slips through. Yeah, all I really meant, Pekeke, is I mean, you own the Discord, basically, that's focused around it. That's all I mean, really. I assume that you were one of the top people in terms of, like, interest in getting this thing working. Oh man, I really don't want to splat this demo, but this layer 6 is looking pretty nasty. I'm tempted to come back later. Yeah, that downstairs. There's a third staircase that's not revealed, but I'm going to use my crystallized knowledge of vaults here, and I'm pretty sure that this right here is where the staircase leads. I'm like 90% sure. This is just the vault that spawns all three in the same spot. Which means I really don't want to go down there. The biggest thing down here that can just wreck me is... I mean, you saw how bad that Mamba... What a bad day he was giving me. We could invis. You know? Player versus player games. Yeah, if the seeds actually work properly, Elo would probably, in my mind, that would be the easiest and most straightforward way. But yeah, as you guys are saying, it's, you know, it's so many metrics in this game for what constitutes winning, and there's already so many opinions on what exactly, like, how tournaments should work even. A lot of people disagree with the way that the tournaments are scored. I know that I have issues with it. Not only the fact that you pretty much have to sit around and kill 2 weeks of your life if you want to have a chance to win, but also the fact that, you know, certain things award insane amounts of points and other things don't. And the way that I mean, I could get into it, but like the parking of scores and whatnot, it's just silly. Parking of characters for certain combos. Tournament is literal trash. I mean, yeah, pretty much. I mean, that's the unedited version of what I wanted to say. is how I would put that. Oh man, I should get back to the game. It's funny. I found this Ring of Phasing, but I don't feel particularly evasive. How's my fireball coming along? 92%. What if I take off the shield? 47, not bad, but the shield's the only thing keeping me alive. I'm gonna do a little more dungeon. We'll hope that we don't get gnomed by like a D11 Storm Dragon or something. Once I can actually use Sif Muna's, you know, benefits, it's going to be a lot better. We could try to kill Fanar, but without RC, I'm not gonna, you know, not gonna chance it. Sky Beast. Let's do this in a hallway. If Minmay isn't number 1. Who's the worst person in Dungeon Crawl? Because I think I might actually have to vote for Minmay, if only because of some of the vaults that he's managed to force into into existence. Hello, Aaron. Same schematic that we used for CSDC, with players having some say in what species they want to play. Yeah, that could be interesting, but I guess, I mean, would you keep the wacky challenges that CSDC had? Which combos they're willing to play. The checkbox. Toggle on, toggle off. Interesting. But I mean, how are you going to compare people if they, you know, they only play... There's a world of difference between somebody who's only playing DDR, DDAR, or like a Deep Dwarf Artificer, and someone who's able to win with... like a pure caster, you know, like a deep elf conjurer. Minmay is Duvessa on Tavern, and every one of this person's posts kind of makes me wonder if they're mentally ill. That's all, I'll just leave it at that. Halberd +4, I guess whites aren't so bad right now since we've managed to farm up some experience from Lair. And by the way, what I'm doing here is not really that non-standard in terms of, apparently a lot of people skip Lair 6 and go back to the dungeon. I almost never do. I'll usually try to tough it out. But this character is fragile enough that it just doesn't seem... It seems like I need to pull out all the stops to make this work. Also doesn't help that I haven't played in a while, so my confidence level is not huge. Okay, this could be bad. Thankfully he's slowed, so... There's 40% chance. Come on, give me a stab. The brown ugly thing kicks the kobold. Nice. Pakeke, I think, I mean, if it was me, I would probably make it win or loss as well. But the thing is that you would need to make a version of Dungeon Crawl that has less RNG in it on the first couple floors. It's... I don't know, it's just really, it would be really irritating to, purely because a Halberd Null spawned in a 1x1 hallway, you lose your first place or whatever. You know, it just feels dumb to me. Alright, we appear to have found a number of really nice spells. One of which is Val Clutch, which of course we want to get. We also have Horrible Things, which is not really relevant right now, but might be eventually. Dispel Undead. Camafunk plans to give Nulls 1.2 speed. I hope not. Alright, this makes me rethink everything that I'm doing. Like, I don't even want to go Conjurations and Fire anymore. We're going Necromancy and Earth, and it seems kind of ADD, but trust me, it's very important. Aaron, we finished Lair except for the last floor, which turned out to be very ugly. Why train S-Blades at all? That's a fair point. I'm gonna stop at 9. because we're at 8.9 and I like to have nice round numbers. There we go. It's probably not stealing all that much experience, to be fair. I was just taking daggers to Mendeley, that's all. But it's, I mean, you're right, it's not really necessary. I anticipate that it's going to be, we're going to be swinging with this dagger for a good long while yet, so I am getting some benefit out of it. Plus, having more skill, well, a Mendeley is 10, but the shield is slowing me down, is the thing. And if I have some more skill in the weapon, that'll counteract that a bit. If I can take it to Mendeley. Crap. Oh! As you close the door, it creaks loudly. He's probably awake. Oh no. I could use the Dagger of Protection, or I could use the +4 dagger. But Venom lets me, establish slow and then run away, so, I mean, I don't know. Do I have Brilliance by any chance? No, I do not. Not really concerned about hasting him since he's already slow, but Chad Protection Dagger. So you're living in the past when Protection was actually a good brand, when you could just throw it on and have +5 AC all the time. But unfortunately those days are gone. Acquire weapon. Maybe if I had an acquirement. Oh, I should probably use this enchant armor. More AC is a good thing to have. Didn't really want to duke it out with all these dudes at the same time, but whatever. Live in the present on the topic of protection brands. I mean, I'm being a little bit, I'm exaggerating a little bit. They're not terrible, but I hate the fact that I have to swing to get the benefit. Died in V5. V5 is, it's something you really have to practice at. No, I don't know if I'm getting no value from the Venom Dagger. There's a few fights I've run away from that, where I've gotten the kill later. Two more AC, very good. I see where you're coming from. Is it +7 AC, by the way? I thought it was 5 still. Good spells, wow. Okay, there, poison did something for me. It damaged the Sky Beast. I cannot be in melee with this dude. Thankfully, Hydras are real dumb and cannot open doors. Alright, you sold me, I'll at least go pick it up. I don't really want to be on this floor anyway because it's got a Cyclops and they can do something like 45 damage to me at range, maybe 65. All these weapons. And I do have Potion of Brilliance. Nice. Alright. I'm going to enchant up the Dagger of Protection. Because Blokes has sold me on it. And we're going to try to do layer 6, and it might be really ugly, so bear with me. Walk away, get into a hallway. I don't want a random effects with him next to me because, you know, it could be Fireball. I think that's still an option. He didn't get trampled off the stairs and die horribly. See, I had a plan for that. I do have a scroll of teleportation and a scroll of blinking. It's not the greatest collection of resources I've ever had, but you know, it's not the worst either. a scroll of teleport. I do deserve a big kappa for that. Nice number of stones. 699. I'm not even really carrying those for a reason anymore. I'll drop them here in a bit once inventory management becomes a problem. See, here's a spot where Venom would have been useful. Feels safe, man. I'm not happy about it either, but I mean, what would you suggest? There's no, this is just a really bad situation for the character. It's either go deeper in dungeon and possibly get puzzoned by the Cyclops, or it's try to do layer 6 and have to deal with these elephants. Sweet, not pushed off the staircase. Yeah, I know that weapon swaps are fast. I'm just, I'm mostly memeing here, but frankly, I do want to keep the protection on now that I'm thinking about it, because 7 AC is a lot. Well, you don't want to, if you swap, you lose the AC. So, okay, I've finally been pushed off. Let's wow. Not so good. I think that now is a really good time to use Brilliance. Whoops. Hell yeah. Fireball? No. I have another source of fire. Except I'm gonna pull the whole floor doing this, unfortunately. Oh crap. Oh, that's not good. Goodbye. It's just like Fireball. Yeah. It sure is. We're slowly getting to the point where we can BVC for real. And we're now focusing on it. And the shields, of course, which will help. And since I'm so close to max piety, I could even start casting it at really high fail rate if I felt like it. Let's stand here on the staircase. Because he's coming in from this angle, he cannot push me off, so we'll fight him here. Probably should have gone up. Actually, come to think of it, why am I not making skeletons? There we go. That's very helpful on this contested entranceway. Oh my god. Wow. That's not so good. That's the whole floor. See, the problem is that even if I were to walk upstairs and wait it off, I mean, yeah, the stairs are right here, but the stuff is it's gonna come over, you know? Like, okay, I waited it off. And with the level of... And by the way, I haven't been using resources, you know, I haven't been drinking it like it's water. I've only found 2 scrolls of blinking, and I think that is I think I've only found 2 scrolls of teleport as well. So, oh, you want a screenshot? Okay, sure. I don't think that's the worst one I've seen, but it's pretty close. That's a lot of stuff. But anyway, yeah, that creates a difficult situation for this character. Oh, you got it? Okay, good. Let me think about this. If I had more than 68 hit points and some reasonable way of killing stuff, I would or just dip into swamp or maybe even spider. We do have digging. We can make a kill hole. That's on the menu. That's that is something that... Go to another set of stairs. Well, see, that sounds like a great idea until you realize that all the stairs are basically right next to each other. So if I use noise on one set, it's essentially the stuff's coming. However, I did go up here, so I might be able to juke them and come down here. Yeah, if I just wander off. This is just dangerous because I would rather hang out right next to the staircase where it's safe. Oh god, what is... This is not a proper kill hole at all. Oh no, I thought I was at the top of the screen. That's okay, he's alone. But yeah, I have to be... The thing is, I can't just spend my digging either because, unfortunately, for reasons I don't really understand, digging has been nerfed. There's almost no charges in the game, so... kind of an issue. Stop getting chunks, make skeletons. I did make a skeleton, see? There he is. You hear a bleat, you hear a howl. What's... Nothing noticed me, that's odd. Wonder what they're upset about. You know, honestly, with this +7 AC, my defenses are not totally awful. So, thank you blokes for the advice. It's better than I thought it would be. What to do here? I can't forget that I have cause fear. You know, I can do this. And it works pretty well. So, we don't have resources, but we can make our own, you know. Endless fear scrolls. It's the one benefit that I'm really getting, the one truly great benefit I'm getting out of having trained so much hexes. Oh god, there's a hornet. Yeah, cause fear is the same as a fear scroll, just less spell power unless you have tons of hexes. You would think it's good, but unless you've trained a lot of hexes and have really good spell power, it doesn't work that well. I mean, it's a pretty good spell. It's just, you know, your punishment for using it is that you've trained hexes. which is a bad school. Alright, I'm doing this. This is probably bad. I really wish I could cast Vile Clutch. Okay, good. He died. Alerts PETA. It was already a skeleton. I think PETA would be pretty mad about animal necromancy to begin with, you know. How about when Enchanter started with Enslave in the book? And Enslave was a spell. Oh, I saw a spiny frog. Here we go. Get some nice stabs on him. The more corpses I find, the better. I keep moving my mouse accidentally. Why don't I move this off to the side a little bit? There we go. Mountain dwarves. What was the point of that species? Wow, getting paralyzed here would be a very bad thing on this character. Oh, there we go, there it is. Thankfully we have allies, so it's not as bad as long as nothing else is around. Okay, Hornet plus Mamba. However, we have some buddies that can probably take care of this all on their own. At least I hope so. We're going to roll the dice on this. Miscast if Muna protects. Miscast if Muna protects. This is 2. You know what? Dungeon Crawl has given me lemons today in the form of a giant stack of immolation and nothing else. Let's turn the lemons into lemonade. And use them vigorously and liberally. I'm gonna get probably the best use out of them here, that I'll get the entire game. And clearing this floor is gonna make me capable of clearing quite a lot more. Looks slightly unstable. Okay. Time to fight the whole floor at once. No, it already tried to do that to me, and I said no. It gave me the old mark, Sentinel's mark special. I can almost reliably BBC. Honestly, I shouldn't even be casting it because I'm not at max piety, so I don't have next to immunity, you know, to the miscasts. And these basic Spriggans don't have that much MR. And we can confuse them with Confusing Touch still, so. Okay. I'm unwilling to fool around with these guys. Relying on... No, it's BVC. Let's not get it confused. It's very, very different things. Thankfully. Oh, a buckler. I could swap my shield for a buckler as much as it's helping me. I feel like being able to cast would be more helpful right now. Okay, guys, come on. let's not get my Twitch account banned. I see where this is going. It's honestly, it's outrageous what you can get your account shut down for. So it's not really something I want to fool with. I like to tell people that my political opinions are literally illegal. That's why I can't tell them what they are. Okay, what's going on here? My AC is not kicking in. I guess I'm just missing. This is very bad. And I screwed up and I activated minus cast, but we have it again, so let's cause fear. And again. Wow, cause fear is really good. I really don't want to flee into the forest here. The Sif Moon is special. Yeah, it's something you gotta pay attention to. Blow on all your MP on miscasts, which don't hurt you. Wow, so useful. I mean, yeah, I wouldn't have chosen Sif Moon if it wasn't literally the first god that I found, and I wasn't under the very mistaken impression that because I was a monk, she'd give me a book immediately. I mean, it's just, there's a reason why I didn't know that, and it's not just that I haven't played in a while. It's the fact that I don't use Sif Moon that much because she's not fun to play for me, really. Oh, jeez. I'm trying to get away from that hornet rider. Cost fear is 4 mana. If I just keep casting it, maybe I can actually get a reset, a proper reset. There we go. I probably would have won at this point. I don't agree, but I will say that I'd probably be done with Lair by now. I'll say that much. I mean, hell, even just having Shock by itself, which, by the way, is an excellent spell. You know, it's a level 1 spell, but you can ride it, you know, with some tedium all the way through Lair. Now that's, I would like to be doing that, but unfortunately no. no necromancy in Earth. Or not enough of it, anyway. Also, I don't think that would be tedious, IRL. Be probably fairly exciting. But not in a good way. Okay, I finally got it to activate. Oh no. That's not good. Yes, blokes, that's the joke. I have to get away from here. I have no Fear Scrolls. I have Cause Fear, but who knows if that'll actually work. Let No, I mean, no, it's not guaranteed is the thing. If it hits me, it can paralyze me. I think I actually have to blow blink here. Because otherwise it's risking guaranteed death. It'll work on the Hornet and the Crocodile. You would think, but I'm going to tell you 2 different ways it can fail. The first is that 3%, and the second is... Aaron, you have to, you know what? I'm gonna steal that emoji, and I'm gonna make. I'm gonna force you to subscribe to me to be able to use it. Or I guess that's not how that works, is it? 3% miscast, man. It happens. Wow, look at that. I'm gonna try it one more time. Didn't work. Let's go up. I hate the fact that I'm lacking blink now. Oh, that's a vanilla Twitch emote? That just shows how little I know about Twitch, you know? Should I try to immolate? Will this actually work? Probably not. If the Hornet dies, that would be just really awesome. Something tells me he's just gonna break out and it's not gonna work. No, Aaron, this is DLC emotes. You have to pay the microtransaction with Bitcoin Lightning Network. You ruin the fun. No, that's not how the phrase goes. It's you make Twitch chat unfun is what you're supposed to say. This is questionable what I'm doing here, but we're gonna try it. Somehow BVC is working out for me. Oh yeah. All right, we'll pull this. I hope you guys are enjoying the immolations. I had a 7 stack when I started, now I only have 1, and I've used all of them to good effect, so... Anybody who tells you that you shouldn't use immolate is lying to you. It's really, really handy in the right situations. You know what I just discovered? You can't get the AC from confusing touch. You have to actually do damage, I think. That's interesting. Because I thought it was on hit. Like you hit something with the protection weapon, you get the AC. That means it might behoove me to swing a little bit first. Since who knows how long it'll take, you know? Alright, let's try this buckler. 36% BVC. 13% BVC. Yep. We can start spamming now if I'm wearing the buckler. Much better. It's time to play Deep Elf the way it's meant to be played. Start playing the game. I mean, no, I mean, I'm not even joking. It doesn't feel like you're playing a proper, you know, Deep Elf when you're doing all this weird melee crap, you know. This feels deeply wrong, like playing a Deep Dwarf of Che. By the way, I guess this probably should surprise no one, but the .23 version of BVC is still hilariously broken. The best spell in the game, you know. Did I get what done? The Che Deep Dwarf? No, I have not. However, I was thinking that I could do it for fun during the actual tournament. On the other hand, I think you said you wanted me to try that in an older version of Crawl, perhaps? I suppose it would be more doable in an older version of Crawl where wands exist. Wands of healing. Definitely sounds like an interesting challenge. Wands of healing and recharge scrolls, yeah. The challenge is just a deep dwarf that worships Che, but also there were some nebulous rules that went something along the lines of I'm not allowed to do cheesy things to avoid getting hit, which I guess mostly meant making a ranged character or relying primarily on spells. It had to be like a melee guy, I think. Is that about right? Nebulous rules of honest fighting. Alright. I mean, the reason it sounds like an interesting challenge to me is that it takes a species that's... Oh yeah, no vampiric. It takes a species that's incredibly powerful and then puts a set of rules on it that forces you to play pretty much perfectly. And while, of course, there's a certain amount of RNG involved, because there's always RNG, the real interesting thing about it to me is that every mistake you make is multiplied 100-fold on a character like that, because your hit points are like the ultimate resource for the entirety of the game. Like from fight to fight, you know. Which I imagine is how Deep Dwarfs were sort of meant to be when they were created. I imagine that's kind of what the developers had in mind. But it doesn't really, because of the existence of gods that heal you and Vampiric Brand and things like that, it doesn't really work out that way. So I'm interested to try it. Okay, getting some water here. It's kind of thirsty work to clear this lair. We just got a book gift. She's managed to give me a bunch of summoning spells and Fulminant Prism, which would be pretty good. That would have been nice to have earlier. But alas, we don't have the best summoning spell, Lightning Spire. I suppose I could go ahead and forget mammals, right? And we could get Ice Beast just to have a little bit of a useful fight resetter and some slightly extra damage if need be. It's a very odd collection of spells here. There's different things that I would prefer to have, let me put it that way. Summon Demon's pretty good. And as a Sif Muna character, assuming we stick with this god, which we will. Oh god. Really, you want to be using summons. I mean, that's what Sif Muna is meant for, more than anything. Mostly because summons are so broken. But the sustaining power of being able to have infinite mana is way, way, way better when you've got allies doing the fighting for you, +1 cloak. I was hoping for magic resistance. Sack of spiders, that's a really good find because we have 10 evocations. So that's a lifesaver. Okay. Well, lair is totally done, except for... well, we'll go to layer 4 real quick and kill those hydras. We can finally do it now with great ease. Summons are intrinsically unfair in a game balanced around being solo. I don't agree with that. I think that there would be ways to make it more fair, but most of them would involve basically turning summons into refluffed, dressed up conjurations, you know? Like, Summon Hydra, I think, is a perfectly fair spell, you know? The damage that it does is outrageous, but it's no more outrageous than Orb of Destruction. It lasts a very brief amount of time, so, you know, all the way fair summons have to be limited resources. I mean, yeah, pretty much. Cursed -3 Ring of Slaying. Not a lot of ring luck or jewelry luck outside of this Ring of Phasing. It's like I used it all up on that. But I would say, like, yeah, you say it's a funny evocation. Well, it's a funny conjuration, if you ask me. Because it's like, it's literally almost the same thing as Orb of Destruction. It walks up, it attacks like one time, and then it goes away. Should probably train dodging. I agree. I'm going to take that at least a 10. But I mean, in any event, it says a lot when my opinion is that Summon Hydra is probably the only balanced summon spell in the entire game. Yeah, that's actually true as well in Dungeons & Dragons. I don't know why they decided to take the opposite approach. Conjurations is summoning, at least in 3.5 D&D, and evocations is blasting magic. If I'm remembering correctly. Yeah, that's the same thing in Dungeons & Dragons. Fireballs. Alright, I'm gonna try to take out Fanar despite the fact that I lack RC. If we can just keep him at the edge of line of sight. And by the way, we should train a little bit of invocations, because channel is great. Any staves? Staves? Oh, crap. Out of mana. Do we have Blink? We don't. I almost want to... You know what I should have done is I should have cast Ice Beast. We're going to have to use the sack just to be safe, because he can do an insane amount of damage to me. There we go. And we have a Ring of Ice now. Sweet. Now come to think of it, I do not have resist poison. We're going to grab this staff just in case we need it for a swap. For example, if we need to go into Spider. go ahead and pick up Dispel Undead. Just insta-gib these ghosts. Outrageously powerful. So we're now more or less free to take on ghost vaults at my leisure, just because Dispel Undead is that good. Now, unfortunately, we still have the Cyclops to deal with. Well, we're going to try to make it work. He can't... Well, he can one-shot me now. A second ago, he couldn't one-shot me. Well, no, he still can't one-shot me. It's 55 damage with the rocks. The rocks are 20, and 35 is his base damage. So let's try to get the slow on him again. He seems to slow down. Very good. Let's, whatever, let's fireball him. Nice. Protection from fire. Good find. Okay, down we go. Come to think of it, we should put the sling on. Now that we have BVC online, it's valuable. Some easy floors at least. It's always pleasant to leave lair and then go finish out the dungeon, because outside of annoying vaults, it's generally pretty easy. Yeah, at least until you get to D15. And then you're pretty much guaranteed to run into an annoying vault. It's kind of a welcome respite. The shadow is dispelled. I feel like that message might be new. Now hold on, I saw a Hydra. And this is the last thing that we want to walk into as we're running away to this floor, so let's be sure to clear him out. Hey, a hat. Nice. Right, I'm not a warrior, as much as I would like to tab stuff. Even basic centaurs still pose a threat to this guy. Everything poses a threat to this guy until I turn into a statue and punch things to death. Get the slow on him, very good. Okay. He can kill me. Oh, there he is again. I'm finding it kind of odd that I'm burning through food so quickly. I have so much spell hunger despite having 12 spell casting and 19 int. Okay, we walk away since he is definitely in one-shot territory. Once we have 55 hit points, we can mess around again. Okay, that's not bad. I think he's out of rocks anyway. Yep. That's a lot of two-headed ogres. And they're wanting to get random energy on me, so usually people macro animate skeleton to the C key. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Alright, I rolled the dice and caused fear on these guys. Probably shouldn't have done that, but it's pretty likely to work. But that could have been death, you know. He definitely had the ability to do my entire hit point total. Are you kidding me? There we go. Alright, let's do that. Oh, hold on. Anime skeleton is on A, capital A. So, okay, all right. That is clever. I had never thought to do that before. Come to think of it, I had heard of people doing that, but it didn't really penetrate my thick head to where I could realize it was a good idea. Speaking of good ideas, Arolcha can probably banish or paralyze me. However, I can kill her pretty easily. This is a good place for an immolate scroll. Yeah, BVC made that a lot easier. So, this was a kind of interesting vault that I don't think I've seen before, just sort of filled with ogres and giants and things with a treasure hoard. My roast is ruined. Yeah. It spawns an orc with deep water blocking the entrance. You know, come to think of it, I have seen that exact thing in orc. I was always unclear on why there was water in front of it. Yeah, okay, I'll be conscientious and pull this stuff to a hallway. Definitely want this hornet out of the way. Nice. We'll turn the corner. Getting low on mana. Okay, that gargoyle is a bigger deal than some people might realize. They can do a lot of damage. It's pretty outrageous how much damage they can do. Thankfully, BVC continues to be overpowered as hell. And takes care of all kinds of problems for me. Yeah, Stone Arrow it's just silly. My understanding is that if I see one melee eye, there's going to be a couple next to it. Let's try to back off a little bit. Oh, nope. Shape changer. This is looking a little bit ugly. Maybe a lot ugly. Fear, okay. But I have barbs, which we're just going to have to accept, I guess. Okay, they're gone. But he can do a ton of damage to me. We're gonna have to... No, I mean... I gotta heal wounds, unfortunately. We can fear again now. But the Centaur Warrior just does too much damage. Alright, we'll rest here around the corner, you know. Manticore, near starving, Hydra. Yeah, those are not great, not a great combination. However, we've got Hydra Skeleton now, the ultimate skeleton. Now, what would be cool is if you could make the, what do you call it, the macro for, that we've set up for butchering, making that into animate skeleton. What would be cool if Auto Butcher obeyed that? So that as I'm pressing O and running around, I'm getting skeletons, you know. Also, if I'm starving, I have to clear my... I have to clear my macro. I mean, yeah, I know it's technically possible with Lua, but... coding in Lua is what I would describe as about as fun as slamming your hand in the oven and setting the temperature to 350 degrees. It's not a fun time. This is looking to be a bit of an ugly floor. D14. I don't know, Lua, in my experience, and I mean, to be totally fair, I haven't messed with it that much. Louise. But yeah, in the time that I did mess with it, I found that it was failing for in ways that were really strange, things that I would expect out of Python or something. Like, I think at one point I had this inscrutable error that it seemed to be complaining about, like, white space, which, you know, it's something I don't, as far as I know, Lua is not in any way supposed to care about that, you know, the formatting of your code, but I could be wrong. Aaron, very good. Hopefully you're not stuck worshipping Sifmuna like me. Well, this isn't so great. I'm gonna have to make him split. This character cannot beat a Titanic. In fact, I don't know if I even want to be on this character at all, or on this floor at all, because Louise is here. And she can definitely, I'm assuming 50%-ish, yeah, 43 on the banishment. We could throw on the chainmail of MR, but it kills my spellcasting, so that's not happening. But yeah, BVC can't be used on slimes, so I feel when you can't even kill Louise. I mean, I could, if I had a big enough army of skeletons, I could put them in front and I could BVC from behind, and we could make it work that way. I could blow some sacks of spiders, which I don't want to. It's just too good of a resource to be using frivolously, or not, not necessarily. If it's not a necessary situation, I don't really want to use it, since those are, with the absence of blink scrolls, sack of spiders is essentially my getaway button. So we really don't want to waste those. I mean, we have a couple other things like haste and invisibility, but sack is really the best tool we've got to deal with really terrible situations. So I think we're done with dungeon for the time being. Unless I wanted to hunt around for corpses to turn into skeletons, but I don't think I do. I think instead, the best, yeah, we've got truly the best character. I think it's time to go into Swamp or Spider. Both of which are really, really bad on this character. I don't even have our poison unless I put that staff on. I'm more inclined to go to Swamp, I guess. Although Neo Swamp, I'm going to have to worry about getting rooted. Shoulder Snake. Actually, barring nasty traps, Snake wouldn't be so bad, because you can walk away from everything in it. the aimbot, archer guys would do quite a lot of damage, but, as long as I didn't get constricted, I could just kind of stroll away from them and fight them at range. I agree that it would probably be a lot worse than what I've been given here. Just kind of looking at my spells real quick. Oh yeah, if Guardian Serpent comes into view, you've got a big problem on this character. Yeah, that, wasn't thinking about that. Fair point. Guardian Serpent comes into view. I like that. I mean, I don't like that. Anyway, I'm reminded of this Centaur game I played once where I went downstairs and I was just immediately surrounded by crap. I tried to go up and got constricted. And I had to, teleport and dig into this sort of very long tunnel to survive. And it was just the closest death, except I didn't die, the closest survival, I guess, that I've had. Man, I almost want to memorize Dazzling Spray. That would be something that I could get some direct damage from and use all this magic, properly. Because as good as BVC is, it's not as good at killing things as it used to be. But man, we've trained so much hexes. Yeah, this is the move, I think. I don't have to worry about Fireball anymore. In fact, we'll go ahead and forget Spell on that. Because I'm not going to be training more fire. Oh! Wow, I forgot that that takes so much piety. I would have just used Amnesia. Whoops. That's okay. It's not a big deal. I do wish she would give me Iron Shot. That would be the ideal. That would be the ideal situation here. You've got to be kidding me. I guess that's less stuff alerted than on that one floor of Lair where that happened, but this is the worst possible spot for a mark to happen. The first floor at the staircase of a Lair branch. I would not call this ideal. Instantly teleported? Maybe. This is if you have a stack of teleport scrolls, I would say that this is better than getting instantly teleported. I would say that it's probably worse, depending on what you get teleported to, if you don't have the resources to deal with it. I mean, yeah, obviously the worst case scenario kinds of teleports into rune vaults and things, I think shouldn't even be possible. Can I get some good luck on my BVCs? I really need to hold this Hydra. Man, I want to immolate. Remember, we only have one scroll of teleport. I guess I could channel, but my invocations is still bad. Let's take that to 10. Can cause fear if need be, but it might not even work. This is a bit risky what I'm doing here. I mean, I'm gonna get hit by the fire for sure, but... Oh man, I wish we had some kind of damage wand, There we go. There we go. Somehow I didn't end up in a fire cloud. I'm not sure how that happened. Can't complain. I guess sometimes it just doesn't happen. We're out of mana. We get one more cast from Sif Muna. And remember, if our Hydra buddy is on deep water, can't BVC him. I think we're going to try to channel. Okay, we're channeling. That's good. But we've still got Hydra coming at us real fast in water. Hey, Johnny, how you doing? Thank you. Appreciate it. Hydras in water are also hasted. For their attacks? Are you sure about that? I thought it was just for movement. Really? That's weird that I never knew that. That's useful information to have. What about player merfolk? I don't remember attacking faster while being in water. Oh, man. Okay, so I either Dazzle Spray here, or I cast Fear. The combination of the damage from the Dazzle Spray and the fire should kill him, but won't necessarily. This is a make or break situation because I have no Blink Scroll. I probably should have hasted. In fact, come to think of it, I may just drink Invisibility. Yeah. Oh, he's not on water anymore. Boom. Alright, we can get some stabs here. We can get some very nice stabs. Also, we can just straight up dispel the mosquitoes. Technically, they count as undead. I'm just laughing at these flame clouds are really fortuitous for me. Trying to get a stab on this, get some AC as well. We don't have any curing even. I can't begin to tell you guys how terrible my RNG luck has been when it comes to consumables. Again, I haven't been chugging curing. I think I've only used one. So I don't know if they reduced the amount of resources you get, and I just didn't notice that that PR, or if I'm just having bad luck. But the reason it's relevant right now is because this dude could confuse me with, you know, the breath. I guess I want to swap, I guess I want to swap the Staff of Poison on, just to be safe. I'm going to channel again. Just because. We triggered the Sentinel trap, so for all I know there could be even more things coming to own me. But hey, we fixed it. We turned a very bad situation into one that was not so bad. I'm not real impressed with the damage output of Dazzle Spray. I seem to remember it being a little better, but I suppose that what can you really expect from Conjurations and Hexing as a double school? Alright, he can pull me to him. Yeah, that could be what I'm remembering, blokes. I wouldn't be surprised if that's the last time I've played a character that really used it a lot. Perhaps now it's only good for setting up stabs with the blind. They nerfed it and nerfed it and nerfed it. See, I think it would be okay for it to do some good damage, you know? Not like fireball tier, but something. Oh god. See how quickly I get poisoned without our poison? Remember to wear the staff against these guys. Let's see how we can cast with Swamp Dragon on. I bet it's gonna look like crap. Whoa! Wow, we actually can cast in it. That is a surprise. It's 9% fail rate, which is not great, but that'll improve. And that means I don't have to walk around with this staff on. I guess we're gonna use Swamp Dragon armor for the time being. By the way, I'm tempted to use this scroll just because it might be acquirement. Let's see what we have unrecognized. Nah, I don't have summoning yet, so I'd like to save that if that's what it is, and Holy Word for that matter. 3 inky potions. Almost definitely cancellation. I seriously doubt that I'm sitting on 3 potions of experience, and if so, that would be pretty silly. We're marked. However, we've cleared out most of this floor. Wait, what am I doing casting Ice Beasts? 63% fail rate in this armor. Let's just keep this alligator BVC'd and in the cloud, you know. Oh geez, there's stuff still coming. I thought that the mark had ended a while ago. Not like a while ago, but far enough away that it wouldn't be following me. This is not so good. Let's channel. Let's fear. Let's fear again. Dude, fear is the lifesaver here. If I didn't have that, this would be a significantly worse game. Spiny Frog sure can do 20 plus 10 poison. I mean, yeah, like I was saying last night, treat them like they're just very fast-moving hydras and you won't really go wrong. They really are a powerful enemy. There's certain characters where Spiny Frogs and Blink Frogs can very easily turn into game enders in an extremely surprising way, you know, in one that you won't expect. Spiny Frogs and Blink Frogs murder trolls and ogres, unless they're trolls and ogres of Che. I don't know about that. Having EV won't necessarily save you. Here's an example of why this macro is kind of annoying. I can't animate this because it doesn't have a skeleton, and the same thing's true of the other marsh swamp worm, or what? Not swamp worm, but marsh viper. What is that called? Not the green one's the red one. Tyrant leech. I was gonna call it an annelid for some reason. Maybe that was an old monster or something. Oh, what do you mean, Evie? You just slouch? Okay, fair enough. Sometimes I pretend slouch doesn't exist because it's the piety cost on it is just so unbelievably high. It's a giant leech. Yeah, they did change that at one point, didn't they? The old bike shedding, as they call it. Change the names for the purpose of changing the names. Let's reset this. And pull him up. Got the slow. Pull him up as well. Let's trigger my AC boost. Slow him, confusion. 43%, but that's fine. Still nothing I really want to memorize. I think we're doing pretty well. There's a few things that this spell combination can't really take care of, and I have to go into the stabbing. Getting a Hydra Zambi, yeah, they're quite nice. This is not so nice, though. Whoops, did not mean to walk north. That was a mess up. Come on, you're slowed. Let me walk away from you, please. Express Hydra Simulacrum delivery service. Yeah. What's really satisfying is that if you do slime as Kiku, I'm pretty sure that you'll get hydras and other lair monsters inside of slime for your delivery service, and therefore you can kill TRJ with Hydra Simulacrums. Although I don't know why you would need to, since the most fun way to kill TRJ as Kiku is just to make a bunch of skeletons and then immolate them. Do I want to channel? I'd like to avoid blowing piety if I can. Just ride this. Yeah, okay, it worked. Ride out the BVC, you know. Sometimes it'll stay stacked on there for a very long time. Come on. I like that BVC will stay stacked on a Hornet Rider after he falls off the Hornet. I have a distinct feeling that, like a sneaking suspicion that that's not intentional. But you know I'm never going to report that as a bug because I think it's cool, you know. One thing that's very important in DCSS is never never talk about something that seems particularly cool because it will get nerfed. For example, here's something funny that happened between 0.22 and 0.23. It used to be apparently that what's that one god, Uskawa, the god of the dance. You can do one shots with it, right? And before, if you killed TRJ with it, he didn't spawn a bunch of dudes. He just died, you know, which I thought was cool. It was like Uskawa is not really an optimal god or anything. He's a fun god, but I mean, I wouldn't call him overpowered or near the top of the tier list or anything. So it was just a nice little perk of having that top tier ability, and it was also something that you had to spend time setting up, you know. So it wasn't even on a Uskawa guy, it was probably not the optimal way to kill TRJ. But then, you know, Advil, one of the devs, kind of bumbled in and saw people were enjoying it. Somebody had posted about it, and he went and he changed it, you know. No particular explanation that made sense as to like why that needed to be changed. And that's one of the big things about game design for me is like you shouldn't, you know, if something was not intended but the players find out, you know, that you can do it, the default answer should not be, well, it wasn't intended, so we're going to nerf it or we're going to take it out of the game. Sometimes I think they call it emergent gameplay. You know, it happens, and it can be a very good thing. It can be a very interesting thing. And I think the devs can learn as much from their players as they can from their own brains, you know, in terms of cool things that can be added to the game. I should probably look at Twitch chat. No, yeah, I agree. It is extremely disrespectful to players to remove something that they discovered, which is generally agreed upon that it's cool and not, it's obviously not harmful, you know. How does Enslaved Soul work? You can enslave. What you do is first of all, it only targets things that are intelligent, so it doesn't work on Hydras. It will work on demons, which is a relatively new development, and it'll work on holiness monsters, so things like Menace and angels and whatnot. But if something's not intelligent, like TRJ, you can't use it on that, or animal intelligence. Oddly enough, you can use it on Dissolution. I guess he's got a brain for some reason. And then there's what is it? Yeah, okay, so that pretty much covers what it can target. So you use Enslave on the monster that you... Oh wow, that's a really good ring mail. You use Enslave on the monster that you want to be your buddy, and then depending on your invocations level, you get a certain amount of time to kill that monster. More invocations means more time. Oh my god, that's a lot of damage. And so the goal at that point is to just kill the thing super fast. No. Well, we have Wand of Flame now. So I guess we're just gonna try to get him with steam. Now this crocodile, this crocodile, he doesn't want to give up, does he? Okay, bog bodies are actually undead. We dispel him. If I could somehow, I know this is not possible, but if I could somehow teleport this character into Crypt, that'd be pretty sweet right now, because it would be mostly free. Just by virtue of having to spell undead. slow these guys down. This has got to be the first game that I've played since I was extremely new that I've used the slow spell this many times. I guess now I have, geez, I guess I have real confusion available. So I probably don't need to be doing this janky crap anymore. Although, since they ruined confuse, there's possibly a good reason to use slow now, you know. Found a +4 and +6 ring of strength in D2. I have 18 strength, 14 int, and 17 dex as a DE. I mean, that's pretty good. I still wouldn't go Che and punch things, but you could. The problem, of course, is that you're still a deep elf with really, really bad hit points. So being in melee, especially from an early time, is just not so good. You know, on D1, if you can avoid, well, I guess not D1, you're kind of stuck meleeing things on D1 as a deep elf monk, but around lair time, you know, I don't know, you could make it work. If you found really good body armor, if it works for Femo, it works for Demo. I'm gonna disagree. I mean, I don't totally disagree, but I'll say that it's easier for Femo, and the reason is that their melee aptitude is actually good. Whereas Deep Elf Monk, what weapon are you using that has good aptitude? You know, I assume unarmed combat, that's -2. You know, I mean, you can make it work. The dodging apt definitely is helpful there. It's just not really something I would want to do. Plus, with Felids, you have the built-in you have the built-in ability, and this is the biggest thing for me, just the ability to walk away, you know? So if things go poorly on a Felid in melee, well, actually, never mind, we're talking about Che, so you don't have that ability at all. Never mind. I swear this is the slowest swamp. Everything in here can just wreck me if I'm not super, super careful. I don't want to get pulled over there. You can no longer forget spells at will. Why am I losing piety? I'm training spells and stuff. Jeez, Sif Moon of Piety is just so broken. I'm not even going to worry about it. Nice skeleton action. Okay, Ghost Crab. Ghost Crabs are actually really scary on this character. On account of the fact that it can spit out hydras next to you, and of course it does immediately. I probably shouldn't have run away from him. I probably should have, Jeez, I probably should have just cast Dispel Undead. Do we have flight? Yes, we do. Doesn't he? For a moment I had my elves mixed up and was wondering how you were playing Deep Elf in tournament. Now that's not until point 24 when they're gonna get rid of Deep Elves as well. Alright, so this is cute what I'm doing here. I know that Spectral Hydras, unlike regular Hydras, do not get the speed boost, so I just drank Flying. And fixed my own speed. You know? Alright, so if we run into that Ghost Crab again, which we have, we're gonna, well, Ah, geez, I could be pushed off the staircase, so let's just go ahead and take him out with Dispel Undead. But hey, Doesn't, how you doing? I did not know that you had a Twitch account, actually. It's good to see you here, though. You can watch me burn through my rations way faster than I should be. How is my spell hunger on this stuff? I guess it's BVC that's the real offender here. Hey, Book of the Dragon. I would have preferred statue form, but perhaps I'll be becoming a dragon in the near future. You can now freely open your mind to new spells. Alright, well, we're gaining some piety. It's not so much, but some. Had to kill that druid really quickly. Didn't want to get slapped by the trees. Oh yeah, it's miserable, Doesn't. I mean... First of all, I found out the hard way, or at least I guess I knew this before, but I forgot. Yeah, I'm a monk too, by the way, so I started at 2 piety on Sif. I haven't been using channeling that much. I have been training, I mean, probably a little more non-magic than I should have, but as you can see, my magic skills are pretty high. Let's see. The biggest thing that's happening here is that I found the Sif Muna altar really early, and I was like, oh, I'm a monk, I'm gonna get a book super quick. It turns out that you actually don't get your first book gift until like 5-star piety on Sif Muna. So like that's a very long time of training spellcasting. Like the idea of just going Sif. Yeah, I know I should train more fighting. Actually, thank you for the reminder. I'm gonna take that to 10. But yeah, I ended up finding a book of cantrips, and so I was using slow and confusing touch and things. I built this really janky stabber guy, and it's really not what I like to do, but you know, if it gives me the win, I'll do it, I guess. But if you train more fighting, you get less Sif piety. I have enough spells that I don't care about Sif piety. I care about not dying ignominiously in here. It's a fair point, though. As long as I can channel, I'm happy. Oh! Wait, that is a swamp drake. I don't know why I thought it was a death drake. It's like the drake being on top of the blue water. Tricked my brain for a second there. It's about to freak out. So I don't want to get miasma'd today. Wow. He cannot one-shot me. Because 4 heads. Okay, good. Okay, again, this is the top tier threat. Let's move towards him. Obnoxiously, the mosquito's in the way. We'll just dispel it. Taking a lot of damage here, but if we can clear that, which we did, can get back to safety. Good. A sleeping one. I'm not going to go for the stab. Too risky. Wow, they didn't even wake up. It's hilarious. Well, I'm not going to go for the stab on the Hydra either. Is he in deep water? Yeah, he is. Dang. Hydra on Hydra action there. I'm really tempted to train more spell casting since I'm burning through rations so quickly. You know. Hey guys, we got gold dragon scales. I better put that on, right? Have a real fun time there. Not being able to cast anything at all ever again. Maybe he died of old age. You know? He like came up from Zot. Or as it's now called, Clown. Oh geez, this guy's not playing nice with me. We're gonna have to just kill him at range with BVC. There we go. Yeah, blokes, you can find the orb on Clown 5. I think I want to drink Flight and try to get the stab. Oh, you sneaky swamp worm. Oh, jeez. That'd be funny if that was true. Really doing some risky things here, by the way. Both of these guys can do quite a lot of damage to me. The slime creature does 22, and the alligator can do like, wow, 45, even more than I thought. So I was in one-shot territory there for a moment. But the alligator's dead. Stabbing Omega lol. Yeah. Well, that's where we're at. I don't want to play a stabber. To be perfectly honest, there is no character archetype, like no race and class combination where I really want to play as a stabber. Even Spriggans, I will find a way around it if I can. By the way, I'm training spellcasting again. Spin of Oka. Honestly, on my Spriggans, if I can't quickly find Malign Gateway, what I really like to do is not go Che, but still use Dragon Armor. Something like FDA, you know, so you can actually have some decent AC and still get to keep the benefits of your big EV, you know, without giving up your speed by going Che. Nice, good stab. Does Yermak still exist? Dude, he wins all the tournaments. He's around. He's man's mortal enemy. Oh, of course he's winning this one. Man's not taking the tournament seriously, and I don't know, man, like the number of people that have the skills to challenge Yermak, you could probably count them on one hand. And it's not just that you have to have the skills, you gotta have the willingness to spend two weeks or so tied to a chair eating eating delivery and not leaving your chair except to sleep. If you want to have a hope of getting first place, which is probably a good argument for why the tournament is structured in kind of a bad way. But anyway, outside of getting really good streak luck, you pretty much have to be able to do turn count speed running and real-time speed running, so that cuts out a lot of people right there, because usually people prefer one or the other and often are really bad at the one that they don't prefer. Like even Man is he doesn't like turn count, Yeah, Dynast I don't know about Dynast. I'm surprised he broke his streak at 6. That's interesting, because he's got that really long Naga streak. Yermak's on 10. I mean, 6 is just not enough. I mean, Dynast, we're early enough. What are we, like 2 days in, 3 days in? I'm not even paying attention this time because I'm not taking it seriously, but, I mean, if you're only a couple days in, 6, and you have a 6 streak, you could, I mean, there's still basically 2 weeks left. You could, if you won a game, like one single game every single day, you would still have a way longer streak, I'm still convinced that, barring really, really horrible luck, I feel like I could, in theory, get a 24 streak, the dream, just if you pick the right combos, but I don't know if I could do it without taking it so slowly that I literally would win only one game a day, and if you only have 14 days, then, I mean, like the first 5 or so combos, or maybe even 10, you can basically tab through, but once you start getting to the less good ones, it starts taking, at least for me, it starts taking a lot longer to get those wins in. Plus for me, I mean, last tournament anyway, I started to slow down just fatigue, just like tournament burnout, couple not a couple days in, but like maybe a week in. Hey, let's fear this stuff. My magical fight reset button. The fatigue is brutal. I mean, yeah. I mean, that's the thing is, I only had, my streak was pathetic last time. I think I only got like an 8 streak, and it wasn't really because I made a usual, like a normal mistake that would make sense. I just started doing really stupid stuff because I started thinking I was superhuman, because I was just playing too much crawl, And so the way that I died, for anybody who saw it or didn't see it, it was I was in Tomb with Oka Wrath on like a, oh hey, our sweet dispersal trap here. Yeah, like I died to Oka Wrath and Tomb because I thought that I could do one of the hardcore banners, where you do Tomb before entering depths or something like that. It was just a terrible idea. It was on a, what was it on? It was on a troll, actually. And I had stat for him, and it's like I didn't bother to look at the numbers next to my name, the ones that say AC and EV. I just said, oh, well, I have statue form, so I'm unstoppable. Yeah, I got particularly bad Oka Wrath, too. But that's neither here nor there. The fact is that it was stupid that I had chosen to try to do that challenge on that character. You know, for some reason I just felt superhuman because I was a stat form ogre, or a stat form troll rather. Or are you talking about a different Ochre Wrath character? I think you might be thinking of the time that I made Oka mad in Lair, and we had like 6 guys looking at it. Because he sent, like, I damaged one of my allies because Oka has that silly conduct, and he got mad at me in Lair and dumped like massive armies of deep elves, like the worst possible. Like I think there might have even been titans or something, and we had like six guys watching, trying to figure out how to get through it and park all that crap on a floor that ideally I wasn't going to have to go through. I think I won that game, actually. Surprisingly. Yeah, there were Deep Elf Swordsmen, for sure. I'm sure that's, I wonder if that's on YouTube. Probably. I don't know if I was filming that or not. That would have made for a really good video. Would have made for a really good Twitch, too, actually. Ah, starving. I've never actually had Ochre Wrath spawn. See, that surprises me. Hey, doesn't, if you use your, you can use your Amazon Prime if you have it to free subscribe to me, and then you can have the best emote ever, which is just Kirby sleeping. Aaron has kindly offered to make some emotes for me, which will be useful as soon as I decide exactly what I want. Open to suggestions. Give me these hydroskeletons. Oh, Jesus, blokes. I'm not making that an emote. That's horrifying. But yeah, I mean, I'm surprised you haven't done Ochre Wrath much, because the truth is, it's, he is one of the more abandonable gods. I mean, there's a lot of... Sorry, I'm laughing at this. What is, I'm gonna hover over this. Is this... Oh, that's Witty! I know that guy. He's the Warcraft dude. I knew he looked familiar. That's funny. He's a good streamer. But anyway, yeah, I mean, there's actually not that many gods that you can safely abandon. I would say Oka's one of them. You know, Trog can paralyze you, and even stuff like Mokleb and Vehumet can LCS you for your whole hit point total at an inopportune time. Oka just kind of sends dudes at you. He's also really easy to accidentally anger. Yeah, that is, you know, if I was in charge of the dungeon crawl development, the fact that Oka's so easy to anger is halfway a UI problem, right? And that's the kind of thing I would focus on fixing above everything else. None of this bike shedding, none of this clown pie nonsense. If it's possible for a newbie to make Oka mad without intentionally doing so, that tells me there's something wrong with like the basic UI of the game, and it needs to be fixed. Like, there should be an explicit yes prompt, if you ask me, you know, because that conduct is so easy to trigger. But that's it's just like my opinion, man. Ditched Kiku, huh? I don't know much about Kiku Wrath. Isn't it mostly just Necro miscasts? And like undead being summoned on your head? Also, I think he... Actually, no, he stops you from casting Necromancy as well, half the time. Random trash zombies. So not so different than Red Mule. You know, my defenses are good when wisps are giving me a problem. If it's okay to stop worshipping Kazlau. Kazlau is one of the ones you really don't want to stop worshipping because he can nuke you for a ton of damage. I don't know if he can LCS you, but I want to say he can dump firestorms on your face. Which is, I guess, potentially worse. He used to be able to drop arbitrarily many necro miscasts on you. Oh, that doesn't sound so fun. Blokes, I'm not positive, but I'm pretty sure that entry sucks. Like that's an old entry because I don't think the mutation thing exists anymore. I'm pretty sure he mostly just damages you directly these days. Don't quote me, I'm not sure on that. Aaron the Elven Disaster, that's cute. I guess I want to BVC this. Oh geez. Fear. This is bad. We could blink. I'm gonna try to fear again. Okay, it actually worked good. It's a very rough situation in terms of fighting these Hydras because we can't... It's not easy to reset the fight without resources if Cause Fear is failing. Oh, here's the final boss of this branch. Wow. Kazlau can summon Shard Shrikes? Wow. I guess I've never abandoned Kazlau before, come to think of it, because just most characters where you would be worshipping Kaz is you're just going to stick with him, you know? What are you going to do with your high invocations that's better than having Disaster Area on hand, you know? I guess you could go for Zen. So anyway, yeah, this Thorn Hunter can do 60 damage to me. We're going to try to take him down with BVC, I guess. Gotta remember he is immune to Cause Fear, though, so... Have to make this work the first time. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and start preemptively channeling just in case I need a bunch of mana. We'll do some Ice Beasts. Wait, what am I thinking? I still have really high miscast chance on that. We'll just... Well, we'll slow this dude. BVC the Hydra. Slow the Hydra. Good, he's slowed. BVC the Thorn Hunter. I really want this Hydra to stay alive, to be honest, but I don't think it's gonna. Picking the right god for your fancy new orange crystal plate. I don't know, man. Like, I'm also tempted to swap to Che for reasons like that, but that's not something I would really force upon anybody or suggest to anybody. It's a good way to get killed. Oh god, he went straight for the volley. Now he can one-shot me if I do anything other than blink away. It's not super likely. And he's about to die. We're gonna roll the dice. We're gonna try to get the kill. He volleys me again immediately. Jeez. We're gonna heal wounds. And another one. That's some RNG, man. 3 in a row. He's got other stuff he can do. I think I'm gonna have to blow the scroll of blinking, unfortunately. I've just gotten very bad RNG on damage and whatnot. Sucks. And I've already played riskier than I should have. The biggest shame is I can't even like lignify and hope that it'll block the damage because there's no GDR for that ability. You know, it's not a melee attack or a regular range attack. It's an ability, so GDR doesn't apply. I think that because he's so hurt, I just want to heal wounds, use my last one, and BVC him. I could sack, but that's not guaranteed. Let's do both. It unravels. He did do another volley of thorns, and thankfully it didn't fly right over my spiders and hit me in the face, which is a thing that happens more often than you would think. This Hydra's coming right for me. Resists with some effort. Oh my god, if I die to this. This is actually quite bad. This is incredibly bad. 7 heads, huh? We have to use the sack. We'll attack him. Alright, we've blown through both sacks. We've used way more resources than I would have liked. I'm sure that at least some of that is my fault. Could have been doing things a little more carefully. Or I could have trained differently. Starting to think that we're going to have to go... We're going to have to get some summons online. Let's stop training shields. I'm giving up on my dream of having 15 so I can actually use that shield for the time being. BVC is perfectly castable. I'll take the Necromancy to 12 and then we'll stop. Channel is reasonably usable. No need to train that anymore. What we're going to do is we're going to take summonings to 10. And while my favorite option, SLS, is not available, there is Summon Demon, which appears to be the best of limited options. I mean, obviously this stuff down here is amazing, but we're not going to be able to get that online as fast as I'd like. So Summon Demon it is. And even if we get nothing else of value, we should be able to ride the Demon BVC combo essentially for the rest of the game. Oh geez, another Thorn Hunter. There's a papyrus book. I want to apport that book and just walk away. I don't want to fight another Thorn Hunter. It's just not the correct move. But the book could be... Let's see. Is it possible that the book is valuable enough that it's worth this risk? The answer is no. Let's just leave. We got the rune. I'm going to make a note to myself. Come back. Thorn Hunter. Yeah, right. Doesn't. That's a very good point. I mean, I'm just taking too many risks if I try to fight Thorn Hunters with the lack of resources that I've got right now. Book of Power would be nice. Would be nice to have. Although, with the amount that I've trained Earth and Necromancy, I think I would almost rather have more Necromancy spells than Iron Shot. Sif doesn't give books. Well, actually, that's accurate because my piety has dipped below 5. So that is an unfortunate fact, is that Sif does not give books in my case. Anyway, we how's my MR doing? I'm a deep elf. You would think it would be naturally better, but Orc Sorcerer is still 30% para. If I throw on the Chainmail, Orc Sorcerer is only 7% para, but nothing's castable, really. Except the slow, confusing touch stab combo. I really want to do Orc. Yeah, I really want to do Orc. Could throw on this Ringmail and still cast. Do I want to roll the dice? I mean, with RF Plus, it's not like they can bolt me to death while I'm paralyzed. But they could drain me to death. And of course, there's always the old paralyze, summon electric demon wombo combo, where it just comes out and slaps you to death, you know. Let's check out this robe. It could be MR plus. Nope, just cursed. Ringmail? Nope. You know what's silly is I think that if I get paralyzed, even my EV from Ring of Phasing goes away. I'm like 80% sure that's true. And if it is, it's very, very silly. It does, it doesn't, yeah. Doesn't is my go-to guy. He was on my tournament team on .22, and he's the guy that I would trust the most to know things about the code base. So if he ever tells you something, you should probably trust it. Let me think about this. I guess I'm gonna risk it because outside of sorcerers, I can just blow through here. I mean, BVC will just smash all this stuff, you know. Made a bit more sense when it was the Ring of Shaolin. I mean, yeah, I guess, because it's like enchanting your actual movement, but I don't know. I think you could keep paralysis in the game and completely remove the defense penalties to it, and it would still be an extremely powerful, you know, effect, because it's the fact that you're not moving that's so dangerous, really. But the whole mega nerf on EV characters always seemed super silly to me because, I mean, are EV characters, are they in need of a nerf, really? You know? Realistically? Let's channel here. Let's fail to channel. That's always fun. Let's try again. Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, I kind of figured that's what you meant. I just wanted to use this as an opportunity to complain for a minute about my thoughts on paralysis. Right, exactly, blokes. I mean, I think that at the end of the day, the thing about paralysis is that it's just not a particularly fun mechanic. And I know that some people will get annoyed if you use the word fun because it's a subjective sort of idea. But I think you can put it in objective terms of interactivity, you know. And yeah, you can do things to stop yourself from getting paralyzed in the first place, but not always. And it's just not, for me at least, getting surprise murdered in 7 turns of paralysis, and there's really nothing you can do about it because you turned a corner and Rupert was right there, doesn't feel like a good time to me, you know. non-interactivity is sort of lame in an interactive game. Well, I mean, I've heard at least that the word interactivity is it's like almost seen as a joke by the devs of Dungeon Crawl, or at least Gamma Funk. I mean, I don't know about the other ones, but he was like making fun of somebody one day in the Discord because they suggested something should be interactive. And that's mind-blowing to me because for me, you know, for game design, I think that interactivity is the number one thing you should strive for, because players, at least in my mind, want to feel like they're doing stuff, you know? And they want to feel like not only if they lost, it's their fault, but if they won, it's their fault. And the more choices you give the player, and the more ability to deal with situations in a very direct way, in a very responsive way, I think the more fun they're going to have, you know? But I don't know. Maybe I should just develop my own roguelike and proceed to have 10 people play it, because this is such a tiny genre. And that's the thing that really keeps me from caring enough to make a true roguelike, because it's just, almost nobody will care. It's just such a tiny, tiny player base. And while I would love to make a game just for the joy and passion of it, it's enough work that I'd like to make some kind of money off of it, you know? And unfortunately, that's kind of predicated upon people playing it, you know? Enough people. Replace Tomb with a cutscene of you dying. That, I think, do you have a time machine? I think that's actually what's going to happen. Oh my god. I struggle to imagine how nasty dispersal traps are in Tomb. I've been complaining, just for the record, I've been yelling and screaming at people about how terrible Tomb is for a while now, even without the dispersal traps, because it's the Zot traps, man. Like, they were already annoying because you have to, if you want to stair dance even a little bit, you have to now slog through a whole army of crap, right? To just go back upstairs. And then even if you want to fight, if you want to just duke it out with the whole floor, you can't even really effectively do that because there's so many Zot traps lying around that you could just get paralyzed. And then you're really going to die. And then, you know, with the dispersal traps, I imagine you could play the Benny Hill theme song, and it would just be pretty accurate. I can't imagine how much mummy warping is happening there, you know. Such a bizarre and uncrawly branch. I mean, yeah, that's actually a good way to. That's a good point, because it's totally pre-generated. You know, outside of like, okay, the creatures might spawn in different places, but even that's halfway not true. Because on Tomb 1, you know, you're going to have your big army of Sphinxes in the front. Tomb 2, you're going to just have a crap load of greater mummies in the hallways. And then Tomb 3, and Tomb 2, you're going to have the ambush or whatever, and the mummies on Tomb 1 in the hallways is what I was thinking of. And then Tomb 3 is always it's always the big ambush in the front. That's it, you know. So it's pretty much the same. Well, 20 or so greater mummies plus trash. I would say that in addition to the variety you're talking about, the Benus, the Benus can create an issue for some characters, you know. I would say that the, what do you call it, what are the urn monsters? They're like non-living, not dead, not living. The ones with this Dispel Undead, I think they have, and the breath. Ushtabi, yeah, I call them Ushtabis all the time, but that's not correct. It's Ushabti, which I assume is some Egyptian word. And yeah, those can cause big issues. I remember one time, I thought I was being clever as hell. I was playing TSO, and I got the Tomb 3 where at the back of it near the runes there's like there's like these little one-room houses, like little tiny rooms with doors. And so I got inside one of those, and I drank a lignification, and I was worshiping TSO, and I'm like, okay, well, I can't be tormented. This is totally rad. I'll just like kill things one by one and win. And then Anushamti shows up and miasmas me in my face. I was like, oh, I didn't think this through. I'm just sitting there like eating poison every turn, and I mean, well, you know how bad it is to be sitting in, miasma. I think I survived, but just purely through luck. But that would be a good reason to wear a cloak of, or a scarf of cloud immunity. There's your use case for that. You know. A scarf of cloud immunity is one of those things where you think it's crap, but there really are uses for it. I mean, I think that the most obvious one is just going into an ice cave, you know, not having to deal with the annoyance. Does the Miasma Blast itself apply the effects, or is it just damage? Do you still get poisoned and slowed, is what I'm asking. It does apply the effects. Well, that ruins my whole plan. Yeah, that's true. You could dodge it. Scroll of Teleport, that is pretty handy on a character that's found almost nothing. Oh yeah, not as a tree, right? Your dodging is going to be non-existent. I don't know, man. If you're at Glork's Vlok, I wouldn't have even, like, at that point, the game is usually just so... You've reached boring mode, you know, where you just, like, everything's a nail and you have the ultimate hammer, usually. Very rarely do I end up in Pan on a character that would even think about using cloud immunity to make that fight easier, you know. But then again, I try to never do Pan unless I have, like, actual Lich form, you know. Which makes you immune to that anyway. I mean, truthfully, if I was gonna make that cloak, I would make you immune to the first hit too, you know? I think that's fair. It's not like it's an overused cloak as it is. I've noticed that when it comes to stuff in this game and the way that the devs think about it, it's kind of like we're two different alien species. Like the very concept of this item is not used very much, it should probably be buffed, or at least it shouldn't be nerfed, doesn't seem to cross their minds. Whereas that's like the first thing that comes to, like, for example, the TRJ thing I was talking about earlier with the fact that Uskawa, you could kill TRJ and do it instantly with the insta-gib and not have to deal with spawns. My immediate thought on that was like, why nerf this? This is not optimal anyway. Almost nobody's doing it. You know, let's just keep it because it's a fun, cool thing. But it's just like, it's like a paradigm of thinking about game design that it's like just completely on different levels, I guess. The way that I instinctually, you know, want to go versus the way the people in charge of crawl do. Resist Cloud also bugs me because it's a scarf and not a cloak, so you take an AC penalty for using it. Yeah. Spoilery. What? Spoilery? That's dumb as hell. Because the first thing a newbie's going to do with Yuskawa is that they're going to want to use the explosion on... What? No, that's actually dumb for multiple reasons, because my instinct, if I was a newbie, would be that it wouldn't create... I would assume the correct behavior, that it doesn't create a bunch of followers for TRJ, because it's an insta-kill. It doesn't do damage, and damage is what makes... TRJ... That's actually dumb for 3 separate reasons at least, because the TRJ fight itself is spoilery, insofar as, like, you roll up in there as a newbie. Let's look at... Hold on. Royal Jelly. Okay. A particularly rich and golden gelatinous thing. Smaller jellies swim and pulse just below its surface, ready to burst at the slightest touch. So if you read that, you could get some conception that maybe attacking it or doing something to it will make jellies come out. Or you might think that that is just fluff. So you look down and you read the non-flavor text. It will release varied jellies when damaged or killed, which I assume this was added or killed, with the number of jellies proportional to the amount of damage. So if you just left this little phrase out, it wouldn't be spoiler at all. You just, unless pressing X and pressing V involves spoiling yourself, which I don't think is what they mean when they say that word. I don't know, did I miss anything? Does that sound right? That's pretty goofy. I think that was just Advil being Advil, which is a sort of a low IQ person. How he became a dev, I really don't know. But, like, some of the stuff that comes out of his mouth is just... whew. Kind of worries me that he has commit access. Failed to see how doing a risky strat and not dying instantly constitutes spoilery gameplay. I mean, yeah. I mean, truthfully, if you're the kind of player who is willing to set up an insta-gib on TRJ with Yuskawa, obviously you're just trying to have some fun, you know. You're not like a win streak player probably. You're just trying to do something cool. So, like, why would you want to ruin that, you know? Like, what? Come on. Can't seem to get a slow on this Warlord. Really don't want to be in melee with him. There we go. I've got him blinded. Let's see if he can one-shot me. He cannot. He's not mited. Stab? Stab? No. No longer... Well, let's walk away. Alright. Kind of a foolish handling of that situation. Having worked in game design before in game dev teams that were very successful and other design stuff, you have a very good way of thinking about it. Thank you, Aaron. That's very nice of you. Yeah, BH Auth is a guy I respect. If I was going to choose any single fork outside of, say, Hellcrawl that I thought was going places, I think that he's got the right mindset for it. Yeah, Blokes wants me to take an older version of Crawl and kind of run wild with it, which I could. It's just that if I was going to get into game design, I almost would just want to make my own thing, not have the trappings of like all the baggage that comes along with the pre-existing game. Because the truth is that it's a captive audience. I mean, people who play Dungeon Crawl are probably not, for the most part. You know, I'm sure I could get some of the more thoughtful players like Doesn't and Blokes and a few other people to check out the fork and maybe even play it. But at the end of the day, the mainline, there's no competing with mainline crawl while you have the crawl brand. It just is not going to happen. Not without them completely and totally running the game into the ground, which, don't get me wrong, I do think is sort of happening at a faster pace every single version, but it's happening slowly enough that the frog's in the pot and he's getting boiled and he doesn't quite realize it, you know? Like, people, if you make changes, really stupid changes in a slow enough fashion, people will put up with it, you know? Oh no, Blokes, I know, I appreciate that. Hey Wes, how you doing? I was just talking about the idea of forks, you know, and why I think it's kind of a, I don't want to say a waste of time, but I want to say, like, if you're expecting it to become more popular than mainline crawl, you're probably deluding yourself, and it doesn't matter if your product is better, it's just a captive audience, you know. I've been kind of playing this game on autopilot, but somehow I'm okay, I'm not dead, so... Ah, C++. One of the last remaining languages that lets you do all kinds of really horrible things. And then, you know, kind of gives you enough rope to hang yourself with. It's a fun language to write on. Well, Blokes, I mean, for me, I don't know, I mean, it's not like, for me to be satisfied with the game that I make, it has to be played by some thousands of people or whatever the hell. It's more like, well, I guess if you're making a crawl fork, it doesn't matter, but like I was saying earlier, is I'd like to be able to, ideally, if I spend enough time making something like that, I'd like to be able to pay my rent with the proceeds, you know. There's no real way to do that with a crawl fork to begin with, but even if there was, there's not enough people playing it for it to matter. I mean, I guess you could take donations. That would be a thing you could do. Is there something back here? I wonder, am I going to be wasting a flying potion? I only have one magic mapping. There's nothing there. Thank you, doesn't. Falling out with art. That sucks, Wes. You have very good art skills, though. I've seen your work. It's good. You just burnt out on it, or fueling creative endeavors? Well, I do think it's possible to combine the two. It's nice to be creative and all, but I mean, like, for example, one way that I do it is I run the rosecrypto.com thing where I wouldn't call it art, but like I write those articles, and it's not just like shilling and selling out. I actually am very interested in cryptocurrency, and I throw the referral links on there, and it makes, you know, it's not making me rich, and it's not really paying the rent by itself or anything, but it's the fact that I can buy a coffee with it once in a while is enough to make the time investment worth it, you know. I'm actively striving to make pocket change, basically, off of anything that I do, with the end goal of being totally sufficient, you know, just off the random BS that I actually enjoy, you know. Haha, shaft me into an Orc 2 I've already explored. But it's like, for example, this Twitch channel, yes, I enjoy doing it. You know, I like, I'm one of those people who likes the sound of his own voice, so it's easy for me to do this kind of thing, and I enjoy it. But it's also nice that it's an engine, you know, it's an engine that I can point people towards my other projects, like my website. I can make a couple bucks here and there off the subscriptions. I don't think I'm ever going to become popular enough on here to, you know, like be a Twitch streamer, you know, primarily, which I don't think I would really want to make that like a career anyway. But, you know, it's nice to get some kind of, you know, tangible benefit out of any activity that you're doing, you know. Even if it's just creating something. Like, I kept a garden a while ago, and it was nice that I could see, you know, have like herbs and fruits and things that I could eat. You know, at the end of the day, the effort gave me something, you know, something generative. I don't necessarily mean money, just like something. Problem is that motivations run contrary to each other, so unless you've got an established business and a formula that works, they're sort of cross-purpose. Yeah, it is hard mode. Yeah, I agree with you about career being a nebulous concept. I really just mean I wouldn't want to be chained to the desk, you know, like you have to stream these hours every single day or else you're not going to be able to pay the rent this month, you know. Pretty much. Doesn't he, if you want to explore S branches in a 3-2-1-4 floor order now, that had occurred to me. And you know doesn't remember that word you used earlier? You said that they said that the TRJ thing was quote unquote spoilery. What do you suppose would be a good word to describe the fact that it's optimal to explore in such an ass-backwards fashion? You would call that spoilery. Okay. You would call that spoilery. See, I would say the same thing. Somebody tell Ebering. Well, don't tell him I said that. I'm just kidding. But like, for real though, he I don't get it, is the thing. This whole system this whole new traps thing seems very suspicious, very questionable, you know. Well, Wes, I mean, for the time being, I have enough savings that I can relax on that, and that's why it's not like it's not a pressing, like, oh my god, what am I going to do tomorrow kind of thing. Like, I'm like in a period of my life where I've built up some money, you know, and I can kind of focus on a few different creative endeavors. But at the same time, I know that in the future, I can't just live off my savings forever. Like, I'm trying to build up a few different things that are pulling in enough per month that it's just like, I guess just like making ends meet, so to speak, so I'm not drawing into savings. You know, I've owned businesses and whatnot in the past, and it's afforded me the opportunity to do this kind of stuff. But I can't just like pretend that I can screw around 100% of the time forever with, and I don't really mean screw around. Obviously, there's value in creating things. In fact, it's the most valuable thing you can do in a lot of ways. But, I mean, believe me, I'm not trying to turn it into a rat in the hamster wheel thing. I mean, that's, if you know anything about me, you know that's the kind of thing I want to avoid. But with that said, I mean, I think there's a way to combine the two. Forget this, dude. I'm not getting Orb of Destruction today. Let's pull him up. Let's fear him. And then let's BVC him from far away. Would have liked to have found a Staff of Energy. making so much quality stuff that you strike gold. I mean, yeah, that's the idealistic view, and I think that you're probably right. Most of the time, I think there's a certain amount of luck involved, unfortunately. But like if I'm creating things that are, if I'm creating interesting things that at least some people, like for example, I'm writing a book, which I really have been lazy about in terms of finishing. Well, I'm writing a second book. I don't want to talk about that right now, but like the second one is a fantasy novel, and that's probably not going to sell 1 million copies or anything, but if it gets more people interested in what I'm doing, I can point them towards the other projects, and as long as there's some way to make the money off what you're doing, or to get people to want to support you, like with Patreon or something. I mean, I would refuse to ever have a Patreon again because of their sort of ridiculous anti-free speech thing. They're like in the pocket of the financial system. They can just tell them to deplatform anybody that they want, and it happens. This is why I deleted my Patreon. But there's other ways to have people support you, especially ways that help them as well, like the cryptocurrency thing. If people use those links, they will get free Bitcoin as well. So it's like a way to help out, somebody whose work you appreciate, but then also help yourself out. Can't motivate myself to do creative work by conjuring the specter of poverty. No, I mean, if I phrased it in a way that made you think that's what I'm doing, I agree with you. That's a bad motivator. I think that, especially for most creative type people, that's more likely to make you shut down and burn you out very, very quickly. That's generally not how the creative juices get flowing. And if I phrased it in a way that made you think that that's what I am suggesting people should do, or even that that's what I'm doing, then I must have misspoken. Because that's not, I agree with you. That's not going to work for most people. I don't think it would work for me either. It's just I'm just trying to be pragmatic, It's definitely an interesting, it's like, I'll throw you 2 cents. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, I think that with like artists especially, I think that's really common to get burned out. I've heard that from so many people who are good at drawing. And it's like, while I've never had much of a talent for that, I've spent time doing some really basic graphic design stuff. If you've seen any of my, you have seen, if you have seen, okay, let me rephrase this. I know that you have seen my old YouTube videos with the crypto stuff. Even the goofy little drawings and stuff I was doing, took some time to make. And I couldn't imagine doing that day in and day out to try to, just to make money. It was these cute little things I was making because it entertained me, and I knew it would be entertaining for the people, watching the videos. But like, that would never be something I would want to do for a paycheck, it would suck the fun right out of it. Wow, I am just gonna get myself killed here if I'm not careful. Give me some AC, please. There we go. Thank you, by the way, for the compliment about the site. Kind of stole the CSS from Medium to begin with, but sort of evolved into something else, It's too bad Talus isn't here. He could, he's one of the guys in my Discord, and he's he makes music. And it would be interesting to hear if it's a similar experience for him, you know? For me, my big thing is, like, the thing I like doing the most probably is writing. It's one of the reasons I've, you know, really want to push that novel out. It's this fantasy novel I'm working on. But I like writing, and I like explaining things to people. I used to be a teaching assistant when I was in grad school for computer science, and most of my colleagues would complain a lot because the way that it worked at my college was that you know, at my university you could get a free ride basically for grad school as long as you worked as a teaching assistant. They would give you a stipend so you could pay the rent, and they would also allow you to attend for free. So I got my master's degree doing that, and all of the people that I knew would complain so much, like, oh my god, this sucks, you know. I actually enjoyed it, you know, teaching the new people the ins and outs of, you know, their first little foray with Java, you know. I mean, obviously it sucked when you got somebody that was clearly had no business being there, but there's not a whole lot of that happens. You know, who is it that takes a computer science class, really? Who doesn't want to be there, you know? Nobody takes it for an easy elective, so there was a little bit of that, but they very quickly realized they were in the wrong place, you know. And my reviews were always pretty decent, you know. So I like to think that I'm good at it, you know. Hey buddy, I think you got the wrong door. Is that the greatest, is that the greatest video of all time? It might be. It might be. What does he call it? He says the guy's wearing a jabroni outfit. And I didn't think jabroni was a real word, but I guess it just means, like, I think it just means idiot. like I've never heard anybody use that in real life. Jabroni outfit. Hey, we got a pair of boots. We're no longer a shoeless beggar. Let's try not to get paralyzed and die here. Wouldn't be the end of the world, probably, since only one can hit me. Hello, Aaron. A foolish or contemptible person. Alright. Hey, is this character finally getting off the ground? Nope. That's cool. Cool, we found our third artifact, well, I guess, actually, fourth or fifth artifact of the game. And it's a harm amulet. Yes, that still happens, Aaron, unless you're worshipping Lagonu. A shoe of spiders. Doesn't. Imagine if there were trapped items. Don't tell Ebering this, because he'll think it's a good idea. But imagine you wear the item, and it triggers a trap effect. So you wear the shoe, surprise, it's a clown shoe, clown car effect, you're now surrounded by killer clowns. Yeah, that's Curse Reform too, all at the same time. It's great. Wonderful idea, right? That's how you do traps. I think I tasted bile in my mouth just saying this. Oh, hey, Pro Magic, good. I'm just kind of doing some housekeeping on my armor here. You thought it was a shoe. It was a tiny clown car. I swear if you if you suggested this idea to like Gamafunk, if you went into the Roguelikes Discord and you suggested this to him, I'm actually convinced there's a 50-50 shot that he would say it was a cool idea and not be joking. Which is why I really hope nobody... I really hope this doesn't get back to him. Killer clown car. See, you joke, but that's the actual name of the trap that they implemented, you know. Easy to forget that that's a real thing now because it sounds so ridiculous. Yes, no, it doesn't. That's the joke. No, that's real. It's actually called a clown car with a K. And it's a sack of spiders rebranded. Or not a sack of spiders. It's a basket of spiders trap rebranded, and it literally says a clown car lands on your head or something like that. Whoa. Wow, that's... I guess that would be the, close to the abbreviation, huh? Oh, hey, we're poisoned. To death. Can I... It's only going to -2. It's time to test a theory. I'm gonna hold my rations and I'm gonna bread swing. Okay, it's not helping. We'll drink curing, I guess. JK, we don't have curing. We'll drink ambrosia. Or lignify, could have done that. Fair point, blokes. The identify minigame probably should be dealt away with. You know, if you want to talk to a guy who really has a passion for getting that crap out of the game, like tedious nonsense, Hellmonk is the guy who does Hellcrawl, and I want to say that he's gotten rid of... I haven't played it lately, but I think he's gotten rid of the identification minigame in there. And I'll say this, I mean, I don't necessarily agree with everything Hellmonk's doing in that fork, but at least he seems to be going, you know, in a direction that has some logic to it, you know? Like, I'm trying to think of the proper word to describe mainline crawl development, and like the word anemic keeps coming to mind, like it's diseased, you know, it's not healthy. Hellmonk, yeah, he has a vision, blokes, that's a good way to put it. He's going somewhere with it. Right now, mainline crawl feels like it's like lost in a desert, dying of thirst, and like puking its guts out, you know? Like there's nothing, it's not like a bold adventurer venturing into the unknown. It's just some dude crapping himself in the wilderness, you know? Maybe that's a crude way to put it, but like that's what I think of when I think of crawl development in the main line. Aimless and delirious, I like that. Oh jeez, this is doing some serious damage to me. Integrity is the best and most lacking quality to feel from a game. Good games have one holistic vision, and every system serves that vision. Yeah, for sure. I'm always talking about that. I did a review of this roguelite because I recently took the roguelites subreddit, and this guy asked me if he could post this game, and I was like, okay, fine. And I talked a lot about how I thought it was cool that the music and the art fit the whimsical and fast-paced style of the game, and everything really does have to come together to serve the same purpose. Diablo is a great example of that. You know, that was, and Diablo 2 as well. Everything came together, every little thing, to fit the same the same ideas, you know, the same theme, I guess is the word you would use. I haven't heard the word integrity used to describe it, but that seems like a good one. The game looked like an off-brand Into the Gungeon. Maybe. I haven't played that, so maybe it was a lazy clone. People were saying it looked more like Nuclear Throne, which is another game I haven't played. I plan on checking all of this stuff out on stream at some point. I just haven't gotten around to it. Generally, like, that kind of fast-paced, borderline bullet hell roguelite experience is not something that... I mean, I don't hate it, but it's not something I really go for. The only kind of super duper fast-paced game I've ever fast-paced game I've ever really enjoyed quite a lot is like old school arena shooters like Unreal Tournament, which seem to have all but disappeared in the modern era. Everything nowadays is designed by committee. Oh, you mean like Star Wars? Heh. But that's what happens when you put the suits in charge and you tell the creative people to go pound sand. I mean, one of the reasons why Diablo and Diablo 2 were such amazing games is that they were designed by Blizzard North, where you had dudes like Bill Roper who actually gave a damn about the creative vision of the game. They weren't just trying to make money. They wanted to make a piece of art as much as they wanted to make a product. That doesn't really happen with the big studios anymore, for sure. Yeah, having a unified vision is certainly helpful, and I understand what a big ask that is. You know, that's not a very easy thing to get a bunch of people in the room, you know, to agree on the same thing and to really march towards that same vision. And it's almost like catching lightning in a bottle, I would imagine, to get that to work out properly. But man, when it does, you create an experience that people will remember forever, you know? Even Baldur's Gate 1, viewed from today's lens, the graphics are terrible. It's almost unplayable, you know, visually. And yet, it's still an amazing game, you know, just because of the story and the music and the way everything comes together. The mechanics, even. That's a big one that people overlook, how it has to fit the whole theme of the game. Producers speculating what they think the mob might want. Right, yeah, and it's weird because if you notice, like, things come out based on what they think the Gestalt thinking is at the time, you know, and everything's got to be political now. You know, you can't just make something because you know that if you don't pander to one group, it's going to make the other group mad. You know, and that's why everything has become so tedious in the modern era when it comes to just, like, basic stuff that you should just be able to kick back and have fun with. Like, video games, dude. Like, why? At what point did video games become political? And why? You know? I mean, I'm not going to get into specifics because, again, I'd probably have my account banned, but, like, some of this stuff is just... it's uncanny what outrage mobs are capable of. And how people just don't seem to have the ability to tell them no. Just to hold up the hand and say, "No, sir, I don't care about your whining." Dude, Wizardry, that was a fun series. If you think about it, like, you know, I could make Wizardry. It's not a complicated game, but it was an extremely thematic game, and it was an extremely fun game, you know? Oh, Aaron, I know that game. Were you, like, two ninjas? Was it like, were you two, like, kid ninjas? Or am I thinking of something else? Okay, never mind. Forget the ninjas. Which was the, which wizardry was it where you got to play as, what's-his-face, you know, the necromancer guy, the bad guy? Like, the whole game was you defending the dungeon against adventurers. Wizardry 4, yeah. That was a fun twist. What a twist. Alright, we've summoned our first demon. We've summoned our second demon, and he doesn't seem very happy, so let's reset this fight. I'm taking my spell hunger to 0 manually by training tons of spell casting, because this game does not want to give me a staff of energy. Let's pull her up. Demon, both are non-hostile, very good. She's just beating the crap out of my Ice Devil, wow. Can we slow her? Oh geez, poison arrow. Actually, hey, there's a lot of chat happening. The return of Andrew Weirdna, yeah. Once one of them died, oh, the twins game, you can't use that part of the controller anymore. That's wild. That's crazy. That's an interesting idea. Yeah. Anyway, game design is weird nowadays because, like, a lot of the games that were so cool back in that era, and I understand everybody is going to say that a lot of it is, you know, you think it's good because of nostalgia, but it's not just nostalgia and the fact that you were a kid when this stuff came out. It's like the fact that back then, if you wanted to look something up, GameFAQs didn't really exist. You had to either buy a strategy guide or you had to ask your buddy down the street if he had gotten that far yet. You know, and so that you were not at liberty to spoil yourself, and I think that most people just don't have the self-control not to. So it's very difficult to build, if not impossible, to build an experience that can really surprise people, you know? That you can go through it for the first time and not know exactly what to do. I mean, maybe I don't have enough faith in people, maybe people don't just look stuff up like I think they do, but I think that people have been conditioned for the most part, like the first time they run into any trouble, go look up the answer, you know? Eternal Winter game. Hey, they did that in Blokes, they did that in Warcraft 3, do you remember, in the campaign where you start out as like level 10 Arthas, and then like your evil power or whatever is fading, and by the end of it you're weak as hell, you're like level 1. Oh no. Oh no. We're in trouble. We're lethally poisoned. That's not a big problem. The big problem is the fact that we're getting #wrecked by this guy. Okay, we got Charmed. That guy's out of the way. Yeah, Ghost Moth is a very big deal for a character like this. And surprise, we don't have any Senv. Hey Aaron, would you like me to would you like me to stream Baldur's Gate sometime. Because, boy, I would have fun doing that. Oh, God. Okay, we got the teleport. How poisoned are we? Minus 28, that's not so bad. We're gonna want to be a tree. We're gonna want to heal wounds. There's still a lethal amount of poison in my body. So we'll drink Invigorate. Wait, what am I doing? I have curing now. I'm dumb. I didn't realize at some point I picked it up. Well, we'll just wait. Oh, I had a mark the whole time, so the ghost moth might be coming for me. That would be bad. That would be super bad. But I think I've teleported far enough away that probably... I am not going to quaff mutation for sin. That is not... Wait, did I? Are you serious, doesn't? I had 2 curing of it? Was it just like... Are my eyes incapable of traveling to the top of the screen? Is that what happened? Oh my god, it's outrageous. I can't believe I didn't notice. That's crazy. I thought for sure... Like, I was just... No, I didn't do it to conserve it. I just thought I didn't have curing. Like, this game has been so stingy with consumables. I think I just kind of glanced over and said, oh, I don't see curing immediately. I must not have any. This game has been screwing me. 2 curing is a low number in Spider, but I don't know if there's a way to check in the dump how many curing I found. I'm willing to bet that it's under 4. 5 at the absolute most this entire game. Like, in terms of consumables, I've gotten basically nothing. I've gotten 2 blinks total. Oh yeah, it does happen. It's just I would have liked to have for it to have not have happened here. Let's go back to Orc because I've been sort of talking so much. I don't think I even bothered to really spend much of my gold. And Scattershot would be a very nice answer to Ghost Moths. And so would Lamp of Fire, for that matter. Go ahead and get some paralysis as well. Where's the cheapest lamp? Over here. The shops are, I don't want to call it a disappointment because these evokers are nice, but surprisingly there's just nothing to wear. Okay, what else have I put on this list? Well, sort of playing on autopilot. Looks like Wands of Acid will be quite nice. Alright, suddenly I'm in a much better position to take on Ghost Moths. Even without Senv. But hey, I mean, honestly, with the lack of consumables, it's a more interesting challenge, you know. So what am I gonna do instead of using the things that I'd like to have? So what is, you keep saying Eternal Winters. I'm assuming that's a game that you played? I've never heard of this. What, tell me about this game. Or is that like a genre of some sort? It's a good name for the concept. Okay, okay. Oh, it's Jorgrun. And of course they gave him BVC. Aaron, yes, but they're automatic. You don't choose it like the Necronomicon. Like, you have to choose between Painbrand and Necronomicon, whereas the other necromancy books just kind of come to you as you gain piety. And there are some tricks to it. Yeah, he does, but there are some tricks to it. Like if you, depending on your species, like if there's stuff that you can't use, for example, if you're a deep dwarf, I don't think he'll ever give you things like regenerate. And if you already, I'm not actually sure about this one. I think if you already have the spells, he won't give you that either. So I think you're, like, for example, if you start as a necromancer and you worship Kiku, I think that he's guaranteed to give you stuff like Bolt of Draining just because you don't have it. But I wouldn't take my word on this. Not entirely sure. Anyway, let's work on this Ghost Moth with my new tools. Nice. Okay, he's in the fire. That's helpful. I could cast some things, I guess, but I think I'd rather use the wands. We're going to use Scatter Shot. Should be awesome. Got a lot of hits on him. Be nice if I could see his hit points. That would be something that might be nice. Allowing you to see the hit points of something where you can see the outline, you know. He should die to the second one. Yep, there we go. Hopefully we don't run into too many of these guys, because boy, that is just a brutal threat on this character. Dude, Corpse Rod is the best thing you can ask for from Kiku. You know, especially if you're like a weak character who really needs some help right now, you'll get that book really soon. And then if you get Corpse Rot, it's just rad, because then you can completely wreck things like ogres and two-headed ogres without putting yourself at risk. It's very nice. Dude, I'm running out of rations. I don't suppose I have Blink available anywhere, do I? Oh, I could wear the Harm Amulet and be able to blink. How cool. Okay, we got him slowed. That's helpful. Man, I can't. I don't really want to be standing here. He can do so much damage. 30 plus 15 plus 15. 60. It's one shot, but not really. Since I do have some GDR. This char might actually want to do Vaults for Spider, since it has trash loot and trash food. Yes, the thought had crossed my mind. And I think that you are right. My only fear is getting shafted into... Well, I guess it couldn't be anything worse than getting shafted into Ghost Moths. Maybe Elf. See, the thing about Elf is that I am not... It sounds weird, but I am not all that worried about Abyss, because the major problem with playing a caster in Abyss is that you run out of mana, but Sif Muna won't let that happen. My spell set is awkward for... I'm going to disagree with that. I think that I have the absolute best spell in the game for doing Elf, which is BVC. It would be nice if I had SLS as well. The Archer... Yes, okay. The Archers, they can confuse you, chain confuse, they can slow. That is a big deal. However, it's actually not that high of a chance. Remember, I'm a deep elf, so my natural MR is quite nice. 6%. And we did find this MR ring. I don't know if you noticed that. And if I were able to hunt down Jorgrun, Yeah, the Master Archer is the thing that I'm the most afraid of in there. Um, because he can just tear through me. Although if I were to be really, really smart about keeping demons around me, I would probably be okay. But I don't know. I think I'm pretty apprehensive about Elf for just a lot of reasons. Mainly just my hit points are not great, and I don't have SLS to guarantee blocking shots. That's the biggest thing. It'd be nice if Sif Muna would, stop being a deadbeat mom and help me out. This is like really wild though, the lack of, no staffs, no well, except for staff of poison, no real consumables to the level that you would think that you would get. It's a very interesting game so far. Let's do a little bit of vaults, I guess. Staves. You prefer me to say staves? I can do that. You gotta hold it sideways and then it becomes a stave. I knew that would get you. No, yes, I am. I am doing it on purpose. Good catch. Alright, no SLS. But we can just kind of force them to stand in the doorway and block each other. Sort of. Hello, we just got some super duper radical spells. I thought you said no elf. Yeah, I thought I did too. Seems like the game had other ideas forcing me to fight elves. Those are the lesser elves though, at least. It's time to do some inventory management. Yeah, it's Kiku book, man. Infestation though, that's the big one. What else do I want to drop? Get rid of random effects and flame. Guess I can drop this chainmail. It's a dagger. Alright, that'll do for now. Now, what were those spells? Alright, I know we want regen. Can I wear the shield of protection yet? Maybe. I kind of gave up on training shields because I was burning through food so quickly, and I really needed some more spellcasting. So, we're kind of... Well, what am I without the drain? 9.4 shields. It would probably be okay. Aaron, yes, infestation is awesome. Oh, no, it's not just okay, it's awesome. Thanks for reminding me, blokes. Anyway. Well, that'll be a great benefit for my defense. Alright, so Vampiric Draining might be okay to memorize just as a... It's a good panic button in certain situations, even at this stage in the game. Revivification is huge. Definitely want to get that. I would have preferred Death's Door on this character since we could get it online crazy fast. But Revivification is technically the better spell. Probably. But man, Infestation. Now there is a single school spell with our best aptitude. Well, our best spell school aptitude. I think we're becoming a necromancer pretty much. No real reason to get Bolt of Draining, to be honest. Since we have BVC, there's nothing that BVC damages that that Bolt of Draining, or there's nothing that BVC can't damage that Bolt of Draining can't also damage. As far as I know, there's literally no monsters in the game that are immune to one but not the other. So there's really no reason to get both. Death oozes. Well, okay, but I can just dispel those. Let me think. I don't really need ice beasts anymore now that I have demons. Death oozes basically don't exist. Yeah, death oozes are funny because they're like, do they even rot you anymore? Like, it's such a speed bump enemy, and I guess it's not really a speed bump enemy, but like, it seems like it because everything else in slime is so utterly deadly, you know? I compare Death Ooze to a Azure Jelly, which can do like 200 damage to you if you don't have RC+, you know? So obviously you're going to be more concerned about one over the other. Yeah, I really want Infestation. If we can get that online, we can do everything very, very easily. Azure Fiends. I wonder how you could make Death Oozes less boring, more dangerous. Oh, I have an idea. Make them cast Twisted Resurrection. Everybody likes that spell. Did I just miscast Summon Demon twice? Yes, I did. Actually, aren't Death Oozes a relatively new addition as well? I mean, I don't think they've been in the game as long as everything else, the other slimes. Have they? Oh, they're ancient? Okay. For some reason, and this must be like a false memory, I seem to recall not being able to slimify undead at some point. You just give them Bolt of Draining. That would be one way to make them more on par with Acid Blobs. And it would kind of, I guess it would go with the debuff theme that Slime has going on. What am I looking at here? This is just a basic invisible demon or whatever, or invisible horror. This demon sees invisible. Deal with this for me. There we go. Last commit involving them dates back to Stone Civ 0.4. Well, that is an old version for sure. Stop dropping corpses. Slimes and corpses are really weird. Like, just because they don't drop corpses, for some reason that means that Death Channel doesn't affect them, and I think that's really silly. I could definitely see the, I could see the argument for a revamp of how necromancy affects them. Like, it also doesn't make sense to me that TRJ cannot be enslaved, but dissolution can, you know? A lot of stuff about slime doesn't really make any sense to me, like the fact that Jivia will disappear just because TRJ is gone. And I get the fluff reason for it, that it's supposed to be like it's the only he's the only sentient worshiper or whatever. Okay, fine. And so like the gods need the power of somebody worshiping them to survive. But he doesn't stick around if dissolution is still there. And also, TRJ isn't even sentient. And I realize the stuff that I'm complaining about is mostly like fluff, but I mean, this is... If you're gonna put it in the game, you might as well make the attempt to make it consistent. Oh god, this can do 75 damage to me. Let's pop on Profire. There we go. I mean, yeah, it should confuse you. The most devout worshiper and also mindless. It feels lazy to me, to be honest with you. I mean, like, it just wasn't, like, it feels like somebody didn't care, you know, and that's, like, the worst thing to me in a game, is the feeling, like, the really obvious, like, someone just didn't care when they designed this, you know, like, when you notice that in a video game, for me, that's the number one thing that takes me out of it, and I'm just like, okay, somebody clearly wasn't interested in, putting their all into this, you know. Yeah, but, blokes, you could just have it not do that, you know, and just be a big, gigantic truck of an acid damage deliverer, you know, and you could just say it doesn't spawn jellies, you know. That could be, you could easily make that not happen. Oh, plants being immune to negative energy. See, that was always dumb to me because, like, for me, I would think that plants would be more affected by negative energy because it's like sucking the life out of them, you know? Jellies respect negative energy, so they must have souls, so why can't you enslave them? Alright. Seems logical to me. Okay, guys. I can't seem to get to safety. And this is, I'm at very low hit points. This is not so good. Do I want to just lignify? I feared all that other crap, and it just kind of... Well, they ran away, but then this dude came back. I think we need to use a resource, unfortunately. I'm going to use a scroll of summoning. Guaranteed, dudes. Lignification will kill you. Yeah, I mean, with this dude here, I'll definitely agree. Maybe not if it was just the centaur. I'll BVC him. I'm really concerned that... I'm going to drink agility, actually. And I'm so glad that I did, because this bolt of fire missed me on account of that, probably. And I have Profire on, but still. That was scary. Why am I not regenerating? I have that spell now. And in fact, we can get a little bit of charms, and it'll be almost free. So where's the Yaktar captain? The enemy Yaktar captain. Oh, there he is. I think we'll go here. Unfortunately, we still have a friend up here. But we'll enslave him, hopefully. Yes? Okay. I could haste, but I'm really trying to save this. Nice. Back to full hit points. A whopping 93 hit points. Okay. I thought I had pulled just one guy, but not quite. Apparently we just pulled everything. I'm gonna make a demon. There's a lot of damage possible from these dudes. Even though they're the basic mages, you know. Whoa. And an annihilator, even. That's just wonderful. He hasn't noticed me, weirdly enough. And now he has. Okay. Ah. Alright, this is okay. This is fine. Ah, yes, the elven vaults. Yeah, see, I came here to avoid the elves, but God, forget this. We have to blow silence, unfortunately. Just gonna swing on him. I think the demon will finish him off. Yeah, there we go. Ah, yes, the elven vaults. You forgot it's also it's the elf and Yaktar vaults, actually. Watching this train wreck. I mean, I'm probably gonna get off soon. I've been at this for quite a while. DB of Che. I'm not gonna lie to you, I would rather be playing a DB of Che right now. Sounds like heaven compared to this. Alright, let's slow him. Yes, thank you. We'll let him get close to me. PVC. Should have regenerated, but it's a little late now. Let's, confusing touch. 33%. That's not good. But it worked, alright. I don't know about suffering Trogwrath on a deep elf. That part I'm not so sure about. Since he can paralyze you, and being paralyzed on Trog is just not what I would characterize as a fun experience. Or being paralyzed on a deep elf, rather. So reliant on that evasion. Well, I guess if you're Che, you probably have dragon armor on. Can we get the stab? Nope. Throw Ring of Ice on, in case of Icicle. Yeah, I'm gonna finish Vaults 1 and then call it a night. Being paralyzed is Che is business as usual. Even as a deep elf, though, not exactly a lot of hit point wiggle room there. Not exactly getting good damage off of this. Let's just proceed to catch the wrong one in Clouds of Fire. The one that's very resistant. Okay, can we get the Paralyze at least? Yes, we can. Oh, Bolt of... Yeah, okay. That would have been a fair situation to use Bolt of Draining in. It does actual damage. You have to understand that I always come from this position of, like... if one spell does... if the one spell can... My instinct is to think that if one spell can do the same thing, only a little more tediously, I'd rather just have the one spell instead of both. Like, BVC can solve that situation. It just does it way more slowly. But I also say that your sanity is a resource in this game. And so, you may have a fair point. Hey, we got Animate Dead finally, and my favorite spell, Lightning Spire, and we found Necromutation. This isn't even a... I don't think this is even a Sif Muna book. I think it just kind of spawned here. Sublimation, not really necessary, because I have an invocation ability that just gives me all my mana. That's a Sif gift. You sure about that? Oh, you're right. Okay. Grants you a gift. Lightning Spire, hell yeah. Hey, check this out. Read this book while these guys punch you in the face. Man, if we found some stuff like Sinv, this would really start to look like a winning team. Or a winning play, winning character. Like, what is this? What is this guy that's just standing in one place? Is it one of the Lori Krapoas, or however you pronounce it? I don't know what this could possibly be. He's not draining my mana. I guess I'll never know. Shadow Wraith. Yeah, okay. Don't they have AF slow, though? Or AF drain or something? I mean, it was hitting me but doing no damage. That's why the AF ability didn't hit me. Fascinating. Just profoundly bad. Well, I did have +7 AC from the dagger. I did manage to get that right off the bat. And I guess that it can trigger even if you hit and do no damage. I was thinking earlier it didn't. Anyway, I appreciate you guys coming out and watching me on Twitch. It's really cool. Really, really big thanks to the guy who subbed to me today. That was also really cool. I'll probably stream again tomorrow, maybe earlier on. Hopefully I can get this character done, but I don't think it's going to be very quick since I am probably going to do 15 runes with it. Just because Necromutation, you know, it's pretty straightforward 15 runer. But anyway, see you guys later. Hope you have a nice night. And until next time, I'm signing out.